But anyhow, now also in Luke, the crucifixion account, right? The one thief crucified with Jesus tells the other one, mocking Jesus, to shut the heck up. He says, "This guy's innocent. We deserve what's happening to us. He doesn't. Why don't you give him a break?" And then he says to Jesus, who's, after all, being crucified as the would-be king of the Jews, he says to Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom," that is, when you're enthroned. And Jesus says, "Today you will be with me in paradise." There's multiple layers to this. I think things have been added to that. Originally, remember me when you come into your kingdom, that was mockery. In fact, the same line appears in Diodorus Siculus, where this guy is mocking a slave who claims to be of royal descent. And I think that in the original, Luke had both of them mocking him, just as they do in Mark and Matthew, and specified what the mockery was. "Oh, your highness, don't forget about me when you come into your kingly power," right? But then somebody has decided to make this a sincere statement. The guy apparently believes Jesus will come into his kingdom. That seems a little hard to imagine, but he's made into a Christian believer, basically. And Jesus says, "Oh, my kingdom, okay, I'll remember you. You'll be with me. I'm taking you with me when I go to my kingdom of paradise." That's not what the kingdom meant originally. It meant your royal, like James and John, who want to be on Jesus left and right when he comes into his kingdom, when he comes into his kingly authority, when he takes the throne. But somebody has thought of kingdom of heaven. You mean that place called heaven? And so we've got, this thing has grown in the telling, but the point, at least, is that in one of the levels of it, one of the layers of it, Jesus does speak of simply dying and going to the place where the righteous dead go. Paradise in Jewish thought was the third heaven and the place where the righteous went. And that's presumably where Lazarus was with righteous Abraham. Does that envision a resurrection even for Jesus? I don't think so. So you got all kinds of pointers in different directions, but can you find the soul sleep doctrine in the New Testament? Yeah, I think you can. In other words, I think there are several passages that presuppose that, but there is no one New Testament doctrine. At least, if there were, it'd be mighty surprising if you could come up with one framework that would fit all these pieces into it. By the way, in 1 Peter 3:19, I don't think that was originally a reference to Jesus. I think Edgar Goodspeed was right that, or maybe he got it from somebody else, I forget, but when it says, he's put to death in the flesh and made alive in the spirit, in which also he went to preach to the spirits in prison. There's a scribal error there. In which also is en ho kai in Greek. Originally, it was a reference to Enoch. Jesus was put to death in the body, but made alive in the spirit. Enoch went to preach to the spirits in prison who had been disobedient at the time of Noah. Okay, bingo, that makes perfect sense. And reference to first Enoch. But anyhow, there's my rambling commentary on that one. High